Family. Welcome to the Blueprint. It's your boy, B Will. We got Wilmont Berry, my partner on here. We got a special guest today. Listen, you in for a treat because we got a special guest. I'm going to let Wilmont introduce him in a second. But what we want to talk about today is discipline. You know, sometimes in our lives, we struggle to get where we want to go. And we're not struggling because we lack passion. Oftentimes, we're struggling because we lack discipline. And so maybe there's somebody in your life that you know that's struggling in the area of discipline, right? Because there's always that gap between where you want to be and where you are. And oftentimes that gap is due to a lack of discipline. So maybe it's somebody that you maybe it's you, or maybe it's somebody that you know that needs to hear this conversation about discipline, because I promise you, you can get where you want to be. You can reach your goals if you apply discipline and consistency. That's what we're going to talk about today on the Blueprint. Barry, introduce our guest, man. Very special guy. Let's go.
Oh man, I could talk a long time about this guy, but I really want us to get into this message we got for you guys today. But this is Demetrius Dew. If you are from Orangeburg or know anything about Orangeburg or been in Orangeburg for the last, I don't know, 5, 10 years, I mean, you probably know this guy, and he has definitely made an impact on a lot of young adults, students. I mean, myself, my wife. He came to the Hill when we had our young adult ministry at Cornerstone Church, and he was a leader. And never, we always talk about some of the great students we had, and Dew was probably our favorite. I will say that. And Dew, so happy to have you on the blueprint, and man, can't wait to hear what you have to say and the value you're gonna bring.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Dude, you got some words before we get jumping?
I'm just ready to get into it, man. I already know from previous episodes that thing can take off real quick, so
Yes, sir.
I'm just ready to
Yes,
get into
sir.
the conversation.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Here we go.
Here, listen to this.
Every man addicted to something. Some smoke, some drink, some chase girls, some waste time. But real man, he addicted to discipline. To early wakes, to prayer, to training, to silence. Discipline no need motivation. Discipline move without feeling. Discipline say, I go anyway, even when tired, even when lonely. Discipline is best addiction. You want strong life? Discipline build it. You want peace? Discipline protect it. You want respect? Discipline earn it. No shortcut, only work. Be man with control, not man with excuse. No cry, no blame. You want better life? Start with better habits. Discipline every day until discipline become you.
I'm going to use that as my morning wake up now.
That makes me feel like a scrub.
Let's talk about discipline. Listen, we don't rise to the level of our goals. We fall to the level of our discipline. Listen, and so it doesn't matter what kind of goals you set out for yourself, whether or not it's financial, physical, spiritual, whatever it is. If you don't apply discipline to your daily practices, then you're not going to reach your goals. Listen, it's really just that simple. Like you can have goals set, you can have plans and strategies, but if you don't apply discipline, you're going to struggle to reach those goals. Listen, we've got 3 themes for you all. I'm gonna hit you with the first one and let them go off. But the first theme is this: discipline is the bridge between goals and achievements. Right. And when I thought about this, Dew and Barry, when I thought about this, I thought about Tony Robbins, because he said that you have to define that gap between where you are and where you want to be. And when you define that gap, you have to apply discipline. And discipline is those daily practices that we do, whether or not it's you heard it in the video, whether or not it's getting up early, whether or not it's going to the gym, whether or not it's prayer, whatever those things are. When you figure out the gap between where you are and where you want to be, then you can begin to apply discipline to get there. What y'all got on that?
Do you want to start? You want
No,
to start,
so
dude?
sure. First off, be Wilmont, thank y'all for having me. Really, I'm grateful for the opportunity. But when I think about that bridge between discipline and your goals, I think that we really have to understand that discipline is not a cakewalk.
Right.
Mm.
Like, just because the discussion is it is the bridge between where you are and where you want to be, that bridge is not a cakewalk. It
Right.
is a daily decision that we're gonna have to really deny, crucify, come against, come out of agreement with, right? Change our mentality. That discipline is not a cakewalk. So every day ain't gonna be easy. That's the reality. It don't matter how far the goals are. It's not a cakewalk. And I think sometimes the word discipline can seem like such.
Can you hear, dude?
Yeah, I think his sound went
I
out.
think your sound went out, dude. Um, but to
But
piggyback off of what he said,
go ahead.
yeah, piggyback off of what dude said about it's not a cakewalk. He's right. He's absolutely right about that. And it's one of those things, man. It's a daily and I hope I don't get ahead of myself. It's a daily dying of yourself.
Right.
Okay.
Right. Right.
And but I do like, and can you talk now, dude? Are you able to speak now? No, can't hear you, brother. You might have to go back in, go out and go back and come back in. We'll hold it down. But going to what you said, be Will, about where you determining the gap, the bridge, right? Where you are to where you want to be.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of thinking about vision. All right. Thinking
Right.
about vision, like where your goals, where you want to be, your vision, where you see yourself going, okay,
Mm-hmm.
where you currently are, and how it talks about discipline is the bridge from goals to achievements.
Right.
It's like, bro, we really got to sit down, determine, all right, these are the things I need to do to get from where I am, be aware of where you are, to where you want to be,
Right.
and making those daily decisions to get you there in a gradual way, or periodic way, in order to get there, to achieve that particular goal or achievement. So
Right. Right. And so when we think about that, man, it's so critical because it's some work that has to go into doing that. Right.
right,
Like it's not a cakewalk. It's not something that's simple. It's not something that's easy. It's a daily decision, man. One thing I discuss with my students, a quote that I
mm,
say to them all the time, is that daily decisions determine destiny. And
mm,
so it's what you're doing every single day that ultimately determines what you're going to become, right?
right,
And it's a gift and a curse in a sense, because I have to make this decision every single day. I get a new opportunity.
right.
Right. One thing that I can say, man, I've been trying to get up early. So like
Hmm.
the past 3 weeks,
Not you, not trying. You
I've been
are.
getting up early. I've
All
been getting
right.
up early. The
Let's
past three
go.
weeks,
Yeah.
I've been getting up and getting into the gym at 5 o'clock, man. And I've noticed that it's been um, just such a good experience. Like I've been
Right.
able to get so much done in my
Right.
day
Right.
before 7 o'clock hit. Before I
Right.
even leave to go to work, like I've gotten so much done. And that daily practice, I'm
Right.
seeing results of it in different areas of my life. And I think that's a critical part of discipline. I heard Denzel say this. He said
Hmm.
motivation gets you started, but discipline keeps you going.
Mm. That's
Right.
good.
And so sometimes we're looking for motivation every day. We're looking for motivation, but it's that discipline and that consistency that you
Hmm.
do every single day that ultimately gets you to what your goals are. Because we all have goals, right? We all have
Right.
dreams, but dreams don't work unless we do.
Mm.
Dreams don't work unless we apply discipline every day in whatever area or capacity that is. Now, in my life, I've been seeing that in the health and physical realm,
Hmm.
especially. But what I've noticed is is when you prioritize your spirituality, when you prioritize prayer, when you prioritize fasting, when you prioritize studying and reading, then it becomes easier to apply discipline in of other areas of your life, right? Because that spiritual side feeds everything else. Go ahead.
Right. So bro, let's start it off like this too. Do you have a definition for discipline? Um, and I have one. I heard Miles Monroe say this definition. He said discipline is self-imposed standards for the sake of a higher goal. Self-imposed standards for the sake of a higher goal. And bro, you think about like your vision or your goal or where you want to be should require you to become a better person in order for you to achieve that goal. Okay.
Right.
It's going to impose you to increase your standards on a daily basis so that you can achieve that particular goal. For instance, let's just talk about fitness, right? Okay. Since me and you on this fitness journey, right?
Trying to get
So
there.
no, we're not trying, dog. We getting there. All right. We on this fitness journey, right? So you know how like you can put in the AI app and then say, hey, if you want to weigh this amount, hey, you got to eat this amount of calories or you got to do XYZ every
Right.
day.
Right.
You are being that particular person now. Okay. You
Right.
got to start implementing those specific things now, because that person that weighs 175 pounds, guess what? This is how they eat,
Right.
right?
Right.
So it's like we have to be able to implement the disciplines necessary to become the person we want to become.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right. Go ahead, dude. Go ahead.
You back.
Y'all hear me now?
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
All
Good.
right, cool. All right, so I think what you just said, Wilmont, is so powerful. I had a friend, one of his relatives came out of the military, and he said one of the principles that they were talking about is not just excellence, but exaggerated excellence. So discipline is not just, having a standard, it is the exaggerated standard. And so it makes me think about, it made me start to look at my workouts differently. He said, wait a minute, am I supposed to just do 10 reps or am I supposed to do 12? Like, am I the person that wants to just be subpar, or do I want to go above? And so that exaggerated excellence, to me, it speaks to, once you tap into discipline, it makes you a different breed. It ain't no going back, right? And so when I think about discipline, it is a decision to leave the former you and strive towards a greater version of yourself. That discipline is a decision, like you just said, eating habits, working out. I remember the other week I did 17 miles. I was literally in my 17 miles and I was on a bridge. I was on a bridge. Speaking of discipline being a bridge, I was on a bridge. I was at the end of the bridge. I'm like at mile 13 or 14. My shoe broke. My legs hurt, my knees hurt.
Right.
But in order for me to complete that part of my race, I had to get to the end of the bridge. And so discipline is, for me in that moment, discipline was the decision to finish what I started and get to the end of the bridge. And so I think for us to reap the benefits of discipline, we can't stop halfway and think that we still get the same rewards.
Right. You gotta keep pushing.
I was halfway. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And it's critical because Jim Rohn says this: success is nothing more than a few simple disciplines practiced every day. And so often we look at it as being this grand thing, right? But it's what we're doing every day. Like you can't quit halfway through. And that's so important what you said about being a better version of yourself. Like I do this with my kids. So I'll say, give me 10 push-ups. And they'll give me 10. And then when they get to 9, I say, give me 2 more. Then when they get to 12, I say, give me 2 more. Before you know it, they done did 25 push-ups, thinking they could only do 10. And it's like that video, that movie, I forgot the movie, where the guy's on his back the football players on his back and he tells them to go 50 yards blindfolded. Before he knows it, he's went the whole field.
Wow.
Right? We have to apply discipline, and when we have a viewpoint of just the next step. See, we have to visualize where we want to be, but our eyes have to be focused on the next step. And when we focus on the next step, we understand, okay, if I take one step, I'm good. But if I do this for 5 days, I've taken 100 steps. Right. And that's what has been helping me is breaking my life down into a daily practice. I'm not looking 5 years from now right now. I'm looking at what I'm going to do tomorrow. Right. I heard Charles Stanley say this. He said, if you want to know what God's will is for your life, just do the next thing he tells you to do. Don't worry about nothing else. And so I try to look at these past 3 weeks. What am I going to do tomorrow? Not what am I going to do 2 days from now? What am I going to do tomorrow? The next step. And that's been helping me stay disciplined in my practices. Go ahead, Barry.
No, I was thinking about what you just said, man. It made me think about a book. If you guys haven't read it, it's called Atomic Habits by James Clear. I'm going to refer to that a good bit because I felt like discipline is something that's pretty much what we've been talking about when it comes to our habits. It's a part of the book that talks about greatness in the moment. Okay. Greatness in the moment. Greatness is built on small decisions. All right. Success rarely happens in one big leap.
Right.
It's made up of many small, seemingly ordinary moments where you choose the harder but better option. Okay. Greatness in the moment.
That's
all right.
It. That's it. Moment, and it's moment by moment.
Moment by moment.
It's moment by moment. Like you have to break your life down into every moment, every decision, right? Every day, every hour. Like you break your life. And in order to do that now, I don't want to get off topic, but in order to do that, you have to measure things, right? Right. I heard Tony Robbins say this, you can't manage what you don't measure.
Yes, sir.
Right. So if you only reflect and measure once a year, you're going to have bad years. If you reflect once a month, you won't have bad years. You'll have some bad months. If you reflect once a week, and it goes down and down and down. So the how often we measure our discipline will determine how far we go and how successful we become. But we're scared to reflect and we're scared to measure, because it shows us a true picture of where we are. But you can't close that gap unless you know exactly where you are and where you're trying to go. Go ahead, dude.
B. Will, that's so good, man. Because I often have a conversation with one of my friends, and with the business that he does, he says that in order for us to see progress, we have to measure everything that we do, right? And so what we do is a numbers game, and so we have to measure everything. And so measuring our metrics, it ultimately helps us to take the emotion out, right? And so it's no longer about what I think I did. It's no longer about what I wanted to do. It's no longer about what I started off doing. It's no longer about what I told B. Will I was going to do on the phone. We were chopping it up. What did I really do?
Right.
Go ahead, Wilmont.
Oh no, I'm soaking it in.
Listen, Jay-Z said men lie, women lie. Numbers don't lie.
Come on, B. Will.
Come on, numbers don't lie. Numbers don't lie. So
man.
you can say you're this and say you that, but the numbers, the measurement, like how are you measuring what you're doing? Like how are you measuring? Like you say you want to be a better husband. How are you measuring that?
Oh, let's go there.
You want to be a better father. How are you measuring that? Like there has to be some metric to what you're doing. You know, it's like before we got on, I said, Wilmont, what you doing the rest of the day? He said, I got to do some things with the kids. I'm going to do some things with the kids. Like that, I guarantee you that was on your agenda today.
It was.
That's how you measure your fatherhood, right? Like, how am I measuring where I'm going? For a long time, man, when I was doing this health journey thing, I was scared to get on the scale. I didn't want to see the numbers. And it wasn't until I got on there that I said, you know what? This is the best way for me to measure my progress. Like, I can't manage this if I don't measure it. And so I think so often, and what it does too, and I'm trying not to get off. What it does is when you measure things, you have to take time to reflect on who you really are. And we don't want to do that because it shows us how far we are from where we want to be, and it shows us the mistakes that we made in the past. But until you acknowledge those things, you can't move forward.
Wow.
And that those daily disciplined practices have to be reflective of the mistakes that we've made in the past. Like, you've got to know why you have that gap between where you are and where you want to go. And until you acknowledge that, you can't move forward in any area. Go ahead.
Man, that's where it's at, man. And I think a lot of times we don't want to do the little things like that.
Right.
It's like, oh man, I know what I did. And not really. You can't expect what you don't inspect.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
we want a certain goal. We want to have this particular thing, but we going at it haphazardly.
Right.
Yep.
So like you
PK
said,
and Tan said intentionality. She just put that in the
Now,
chat.
intentionality, being intentional, design your future, right? So it's like you saying, all right, I want to be a better dad, or I want to be a better husband, or I want to be a better student. Okay, where's that on your schedule? Your goal should dictate your schedule.
Mm.
Yes, sir.
Your goal should dictate your schedule. Miles Monroe said, he was like this. He said, man, when you have a vision, your schedule gets tight
Mm-hmm.
because you know what not to focus on.
Yep.
And you focus all of your attention on those things that have the most value to you.
Right.
Right. So your schedule is packed with, all right, dad, mom, and I'm gonna be a better dad. All right, this time I'm spending with my girls. All right, I want to make sure I'm top guy in my real estate business. All right, this time right here, I'll make sure I put this in my schedule right
Mhm.
here. I'm gonna prospect this time. I'm gonna do this with these clients this time. I'm gonna make sure I get my paperwork this time. Okay, so it's like when you make sure, when you have your values or your vision in front of you, it should dictate your daily task or schedule, so you can be intentional, like Pecan Tan said, about where you're going.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead, dude.
So you have to inspect what you expect. We have to measure metrics. It makes me think, because once we do all of that, we have to be ready to take ownership. And I think one of the things that oftentimes I've even ran away from as well. So, for example, people will say, man, I used to play football, back in the days, and I'm still athletic. Don't you go out there and break your don't you go out there and break your ankle. Because
Right.
the reality of it is, you're not the same person that you used to be, right? And that's okay. But we have to now take ownership of that gap, right? And I think a lot of times, the reason why we are so emotional with metrics and measuring them, because we put the blame of where we should be on somebody else. It was this person's fault that I didn't go to the game. It was this person's fault that I didn't go exercise at the gym. It was my wife's fault that I didn't get the clothes out the dryer. It was whoever's fault it was. Now I am more emotional because I put the blame on somebody else. So ownership and discipline go hand in hand.
That's good.
That's so good.
Ownership.
Yeah.
Right. Listen, so we've established that discipline is the bridge between goals and achievements, right?
Mm-hmm.
But listen to point number 2. Discipline requires delayed gratification. Listen to what Hebrews 12:11 says. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace. Listen, discipline is choosing between what you want now and what you want most. Right? And we live in a society that we say it all the time on here, that microwave society. We want it now. Right? But discipline requires delayed gratification. And we don't want that. We don't want delay. We want it now. We want everything that God has for us. We want it right now without
Yeah.
having to apply the discipline, because the discipline requires work. And Barry says this all the time. There's something, we're being created into something when we're applying that discipline. Like, it's the work that's going on that's making us a different person,
Mm.
right? Or making us the person that God wants us to be. And without that discipline, without those daily practices, see, without I was so against waking up early. I was gonna wake up, get dressed, go to work. Now I've been getting up an hour earlier than sometimes an hour and a half earlier than I normally get up. And what I've noticed is something that I was so against was actually what I needed to close the gap.
Mm.
Mm.
And now I can see the delay. I can see the results of doing something that brought me out of my comfort zone. And I know, because what God will do, and I'm gonna stop. What God will do sometimes is He'll give you a glimpse of what you want to be or what
Mm.
you are to become. And when you get that little glimpse, you get a little bit of motivation to do it again the next day.
Mm.
Right. So when I'm on that treadmill at 5 a.m, it's tough. But
Yes,
the
sir.
last 5 minutes, I don't know what it is, but the last 5 minutes, I get a boost, and it make me want to come back and do it again the next day. It's like
Right.
playing golf. You hit that one good shot, right?
One good shot.
That one good shot out of 18 holes that you want to come back and play again. And so sometimes that delay, God gives us glimpses, and He takes us step by step by step. And when we take those steps, in fact, the scripture says it this way: the righteousness of God is revealed from faith to faith. That means God gives us a little bit at a time. And it's enough for us to see that this dream is real. Like, I can accomplish this as long as I keep applying discipline in my life. Y'all go ahead.
Mm. That's good. Brother, I'm glad that early morning is different, bro.
It's a game changer, bro.
It's a game changer, bro. That early morning, undisturbed
Mm-hmm.
time you have with the Lord. It's just also another time when, you know, a lot of people ain't bothering you about all kind of stuff going on or
Right.
whatever, and you can
Right.
just kind of focus in on whatever that time is, that workout. And
Yeah.
I'm gonna go back to your scripture, bro. Hebrews 12:11. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful later on. However, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace. I think about this quote. It says, "Discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons."
Mm.
Discipline weighs ounces, but regret weighs tons. Though every day we have the opportunity to apply discipline.
Mm.
Bro, in that time it don't feel good.
Right.
But bro, let me tell you something. If you fail to apply discipline now, later on you're gonna hate, you're gonna regret, and the weight is so much heavier when you look back. It's like, man, I wish I would apply myself a little bit more.
Right.
I wish I would have I wish I would have got the weight off of me before I had to go to the doctor.
Right.
And he told me now I have to get it off. You know, that regret then weighs a whole lot heavier than the amount of discipline you have to apply right now.
Yeah.
So like just thinking about that, man, like man, we have each and every day we have an opportunity to apply discipline to get to the better you,
Mm.
you know. But each and every day we decide not to is another weight that we're going to be adding to our shoulders later on down the road,
Right. Right.
you
Right.
know. So yeah.
Go ahead, do.
With delayed gratification, what I was thinking about, and had it in my notes too, but I was thinking about just how what God wants to display, or who
Mm,
God wants to display, the way that He wants to display them. Normally, those things take a little delay. Like what God
Mm-hmm.
displays, He wants to delay, and because there's some development that we need, there is some things that we need to kill. In the dark, there are some things that David is with the lion, David is with the bear. David learns how to use a slingshot. Behind closed doors, nobody knows his resume. Nobody knows what he can do, but he is literally killing this stuff. And so I believe that God takes time to display us. And
Mm-hmm.
it is a delay because there are some crucial things that need to be strengthened inside of us. There are some
Mm.
Mm.
crucial principles to be integral, to be able to stand on your own 2 feet, to be able to be trustworthy in certain rooms with certain people. I'd rather have
Right.
delayed gratification from God than instant gratification from people,
Mm. Right.
because God knows what you can carry. I think there was a quote that says that when the light shining on you is greater than the light that is
Mm.
shining in you, it'll crush
Mm.
you.
Mm. That's
That's
good.
that's good, man.
That's good.
I,
And everything that we know David because of the story of David and Goliath, right?
right.
We know him because of that story. But I don't remember who I heard say this. David ain't even the one who wrote about that. It's in the book of
Mm.
Samuel. David didn't even
Mm.
talk about it. He didn't even talk about
Mm.
it. It was in the book of Samuel, right? And so
That's so good.
that's
That's so
good,
good.
man, because David,
That is
that everything that he was becoming as a shepherd was critical not only to him defeating Goliath, but to
Ugh.
him ultimately being the king of Israel. See, he had to shepherd sheep before he could shepherd people.
come
Mm.
on,
Right.
man.
So God is developing in us
Right.
something even through the tasks that we think are menial. Right. He's developing in us. And what one thing, and I'm passing to you, Barry, one thing that David had to develop through fighting the lions and the bears and and all of that
Right.
was courage.
Mm.
Right.
Yes.
Because if you notice, when he fought Goliath, the scripture says that David ran towards Goliath.
Mm.
See, because of what he had went through before, he was able to run toward what everybody else was running away from.
Oh
Come
my.
on, man.
Because in those slow areas, he was being developed. And we
Come on,
don't
man.
like that development because it's delayed gratification. There's
Yes, sir.
something, if you look back at your life now, there are things that you can do now that you can look back on menial tasks that you did before, and you can see how it was a developing process, right? Short-term pleasure often costs long-term growth,
Yep.
right? And we have to understand that in the menial tasks that we're doing that we don't like, right? I tell Barry this all the time, bro. Barry's a business owner, real estate agent, but at one point he was an insurance adjuster, right? And now you're able to give your clients a perspective on buying houses that you wouldn't be able to give them if you had not been an insurance adjuster. So through the menial things or the previous things, you were developed into who you are now, but there were some practices and some processes, some procedures, some strategies, some skills that were developed in you then that God is using now to make you better than the competition. Go ahead, Bear.
Oh my God, man. That's so good. No, like I wasn't even thinking about what you just said, but you brought something to my attention. Yeah, you know what's so funny is like before I got into this type of business, I never was in sales, right? I think that was the part about real estate I wasn't used to, but I knew stuff about housing, know how to deal with clients. But God is always preparing you for the next, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's
Yeah.
always building you, molding you, shaping you like the potter. He's the potter and the clay, you the clay.
Right.
And he's always preparing you for the next thing, man. And it's so amazing. Like I talk about like how some of the issues that come up in real estate I- and someone else that didn't have my background might think they're big.
Mm-hmm.
But because I used to deal with people that used to lose their house overnight,
Right.
right? From a hurricane or flood or
Mm.
fire. And I had to console them. But now I deal with people and they don't like the paint color, you know. Now I'm dealing with people and oh, I don't know if we can close in 20 days or 30 or 45 days. It's okay. It's gonna be all
Right.
right,
Right.
you know. But and some people might freak out about that kind of stuff. But because God had prepared me, from my prior
Yeah.
to now, You know,
Yeah.
it's different.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about the delay, and that was so good what you said, dude. God wants to delay what he wants to display. I love that. That's so good, boy. That's hey, you can write that,
That's
put a
going in the chat
punchline on.
right now.
Hey, that's so good. But the thing I realized too, man, when you're up in the morning, be Will, no one's clapping for you in the dark.
Oh, sir.
They wasn't with Kobe in the gym shooting, was they? You know? But I'm saying that is because a lot of times when we're growing like a tree grows two ways.
Mm-hmm.
It grows down
Right.
and it grows up. You know what I'm saying? Nobody sees the root system getting deeper. That's growth
Mm.
too.
Mm-hmm.
The part that's being displayed in front of everybody, is the top part. But they don't see the root system getting deeper and wider and going. So when the storm comes,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
it can withstand the different, trials and tribulations that we're going to come across when you get to that level. We want to have all those things, all those particular things, but there's a backside to it as well.
Right.
Can you handle the pressure?
Come on.
Right.
There was a time when I first got in real estate, man, I want to sell 50 houses, but I couldn't. But I don't know what I'll do with myself if I sold 50 houses when I first got in real estate.
Right.
All the pressure, dealing with all the clients. Can you handle 10 clients? Can you
Right.
handle 20 clients?
Right. Mm. See, David had to handle the sheep before he can handle God's people.
Dog. Dog.
Come on, man.
Well, see, it goes to that point, and then do you jump in here? It goes to that point. I heard Tony Robbins say this. Steph Curry has shot in 250, like 2 million shots in
Dog.
the gym.
I got the stats. Can I say the stats?
Give the stats.
Oh man, I was gonna wait to throw this one in there, but dog, Steph makes. Let's get this clear: 500 shots a day, 7 days a week
Right.
for 15 years. That's 3,500 shots a week, and I think that's like something like 2 point something million shots he had to make. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
For him to break the record, I think like to make, I think the record was like 3,500 or something like 3,600.
Mm-hmm.
But he already shot 2 million.
Right.
Or made 2 million before he could make 3,500.
Right.
Something like that. Don't quote me on the
and those shots he made in the gym when nobody was watching.
Nobody's watching, dog.
Go ahead, dude.
Yeah.
Go ahead, dude.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm thinking about this delayed gratification. And as I'm thinking about it, I'm thinking about gratification, or the instant gratification makes me think about instant satisfaction.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Is that when I'm instantly gratified, I am also satisfied. Meaning that if B Will claps for me when I do 5 jumping jacks, when in actuality I can do 10. It's just that I haven't did 1 in so long that when I get to 5, everybody praises me.
Right.
But instant gratification makes me think about instant satisfaction. And normally the thing that is satisfied needs to be cut away.
Right. Right. Right.
The areas in us that are satisfied, like the laziness, right? Like the procrastination, like the area, not being able to follow through. It makes me, the instant gratification makes me think about when those moments, those are things that need to be cut away. And for example, I had students when I was working in college one time, and they would maybe come in late, or do certain things that were outlandish, and so we'll have conversations about it. And instead of me allowing you to get past on this, I'm going to check you, hold you accountable, because if I don't hold you accountable, I'm going to put water on the thing that needs to die. I'm going to put water on the thing that needs to be cut away. And so when we have those moments of instant gratification, and then we get satisfied, like when somebody affirms or confirms, oh yeah, you're good, that thing needs to be cut away.
Right.
Right.
That's good. And listen, Proverbs 12:1 says this: whoever loves discipline loves knowledge, but whoever hates correction is stupid.
Come on, man.
I like Solomon just makes it plain. Like if you don't like being corrected, you're stupid. Right? And discipline is a form of God chiseling away what doesn't need to be there. Right? It's a form of him through us. And that's what's critical, because God could do things without us. God could help. God could make us the person he wants us to be without our input. But he chooses to use us because of the third theme that we're going to talk about. Discipline builds character, not just habits. He chooses to use us to build character in us. And that building of character is actually what makes us successful, not the overall reaching of the goal. It's the character development that happens. Discipline strengthens who you are, not just what you are striving to accomplish. It strengthens who you are. So when I'm disciplined about being a better father or spending time with my kids, ultimately I'm becoming a better father. When I'm disciplined about going to the gym, ultimately I'm becoming healthier. Right. But it's the character development that's happening. And that goes back to what you said, Dew, about the story of David and Goliath. Everything that happened before Goliath was building his character. Right. Think about this. He had killed a lion, a bear, Goliath. You remember when Saul was asleep and David cut Saul's robe? David could have killed Saul then and became the king. But there was some character that was developed in David to know that I can't touch this man because God put him there. And if David had not done those things prior to that, he would have been an undisciplined leader. And that's what we see a lot of times, especially in churches nowadays. We've got leaders that are undisciplined because they hadn't taken the time to be developed. Somebody get this mic from you. Go ahead.
Can I jump in? I know I'm out of order, but this quote came to
go
my
ahead.
head, if you will. Discipline is so important because it builds character, and ultimately, this is what it does. The quote says this: "How you do anything is how you do everything."
Right.
If, I don't even want to dig into that too much, but how can I expect to be a man of God in one environment when I'm not a man of God in another environment? How can I expect to be a man of integrity in one area when I'm not a man of integrity in this area? How you do one thing or anything is how we do everything. And so what God is building in you right now that may be watching this, it's really meant to save your life, to be real with you. If I can be 100% real with you.
Right.
God is building something in you that's going to be able to save your life amongst your peers, that when you get on that stage, when you get in those back rooms, when you get into those conversations, God is going to be able to help you to turn that corner instead of going into that room.
Right.
God is going to be able to help you navigate with certain deals, certain conversations with people, because what's being built in you right now is so important, because how we do one thing, how we do anything is how we do everything.
Right. Go ahead, Bear.
Oh, man. Hey, there's a quote. Jim Rohn said this: "Don't wish things to be better. Don't wish things to be better. Wish you were better." Okay. I think we always want our situations to change, but we have to change.
That's
Okay?
it.
Yeah.
All right. So like the thing about building discipline is also, like you said, building character, building the person that God wants you to be in that time, leaving the old you for a new you, leaving the old me for a better me.
Yep.
And I think that goes back to what we were talking. I kind of mentioned earlier about dying to yourself.
Right.
Dying to yourself daily. Part of me wants to stay in the bed in the morning.
Every morning.
Every morning. Every morning.
Part of me doesn't want to control my eyes sometimes. Let's be real. Okay. Part of me wants to have certain thoughts sometimes. Okay. So it's leaving the old me for the better me, the more disciplined me, the me that God wants me to be.
Right.
I,
And God wants us to be disciplined to reflect him though, not to
good.
impress him.
Thank
We
you.
see
That was
we
good.
can't impress him because he knows all, right?
Mm,
But Bear, you mentioned something about understanding that there's some things we want to do, right? And oftentimes what we end up doing is we end up praying for God to deliver us from those things, right? But in actuality,
Yeah.
sometimes we're praying for deliverance when really God is trying to teach us discipline,
mm,
Yeah.
because discipline requires dependence.
mm,
Yep.
See, if I'm not anchored in anything, if I don't have a source of strength, I can't be disciplined. And God is more interested in you being disciplined than your deliverance, because through discipline, he can deliver you. See, we expect things to happen just like that. We expect God's miracles and all of those things in our life to happen just like that. But often it's a gradual process, right? It's often a gradual process that we don't see immediately. We see it day by day, and it builds our integrity. It builds our confidence, not in ourselves only. I do believe you should have some confidence in yourself, but discipline builds our confidence in whatever we're anchored in,
mhm.
and we know
Mm,
who that should be. Right? Go
Right.
ahead, do.
that's powerful, B Will. It makes me think about because I'm up in the morning sometimes in between 5:15 and 5:30 to make sure that I get to the gym, get to work and everything all accordingly because then I got a 18-month-year-old, I got a family, so it's a lot going on.
Right.
But
Mhm,
it makes me think about, as you're saying, that discipline builds character and not just habits. Those moments when we're up in the morning and denying ourselves, like telling ourselves, hey, instead of you saying no, I don't want to go to the gym, I'm going to go to the gym. That is a form of denial.
Right.
And I'm I'm grateful because we don't have to wait for bigger moments in order for us to showcase how strong we've gotten. You know what I'm saying? So, for example, I'm thinking about this in my mind. David was able to confront Goliath because he had those moments with the lions, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so for us right now, for me, God may be saying, "Hey, master those mornings, dude.
Yeah.
Master getting up 5:15. Master getting into my word. Master praying. Master giving me 30 minutes to an hour." Because when those other moments come where there may be a Goliath in your midst, you won't be intimidated.
That's it. That's it. That's good. That's good. And I think that's critical for, because it's all about development. It is
All
all
about
about
development.
God developing us into something. Listen, he never just threw people out there. He was always developing them.
mm,
Right? Right. Think about what Jesus did walking with the disciples during his ministry for 3 years. He was developing them.
mm,
He was the master teacher. He was developing them and telling them, when I go, there's some things that's gonna happen to you, but because of, if you keep my commandments, if you keep my teachings, you're gonna be okay. Right. And so sometimes we don't want that character development because it's difficult, man. Like nobody wants to be in a place where they're being developed, because it's a difficult process, right? What you got for that, Beer?
right. I don't think people I don't think people don't like change. I think people just don't like to be changed, you know? I think a lot of times we like I think some people like new stuff
Mm-hmm.
or whatever. But new feels sometimes uncomfortable if it changes something we have to uh, uh do on a daily basis or whatever. So like, whenever we trying to build muscle, guess what? It's gonna hurt.
Got to hurt.
It's gonna hurt.
Mm-hmm.
We're building muscle. So we gotta break it down.
Right.
Um, so like, but yeah, man, I just think that I was thinking as you guys were talking, thinking about like I know we're on here talking. we telling you, discipline, be disciplined. And bro, it's not easy.
No,
It's
sir.
tough. And it's something that you have to want for yourself.
Right.
It's self-imposed standards that you put
Hmm.
on yourself to make you better,
Right.
to achieve the things that you want to achieve.
Right.
So like I don't want people to think that, hey, Wilmont is the most disciplined person out there. That's not true.
Mhm. Right.
I got some things I'm working on. It's some struggles I'm working on as well to get to the better me.
Hmm.
And it's just one of those things. It's a daily grind. It's a daily sacrifice. But guess what? There's freedom in discipline. There's freedom in sacrifice.
Hmm.
Some of the things I used to be, bound by, and through God's grace, I have been able to be freed from. You know,
Right.
it was a sacrifice. You
Right.
know, and I don't know if we I don't know if we decided. Be well. Do you have any like tips on how people can be, or do you have any tips that people can use to be more disciplined? I don't know if y'all got any tips or anything like
Yeah.
that.
Well, I would say one thing that I've learned over the past month is it's difficult to be disciplined if you don't know what you really want. See,
Right,
oftentimes we know what we don't want, but we don't sit down to write out what it is that we want,
right,
right?
right.
And so developing or understanding what it is that I want,
Mm-hmm.
and then why do I want it,
Okay,
right? It's
okay.
critical. It's critical because that's the driving force. That's the driving force behind actually doing the work it takes to get there.
Okay.
Right. So what it is, and Tony Robbins talks about all of that, but what it is that I want, why is
Mm-hmm.
it that I want it, then defining the gap between where I am and where I want to be,
Mm-hmm.
and why I'm there. Right. Like that one hits me hard, Barry. Like, why am I there?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Mm-hmm.
why am I at a place where I have a gap in the first place?
Mm-hmm.
And what Dew said earlier is critical, understanding that it's not anyone else's fault. See, we
Right.
we, we have a tendency to blame other people, to blame circumstances, to blame um, our skin color, our socioeconomic status. I only grew up with a dad, didn't have a mom. I only did all of these things that we blame, and those things do affect who we become. However, those are stepping stones or hurdles that we have to overcome to get to where we're going. So you got to know what you want, why
Mm-hmm.
you want it, why is there a gap. Then you got to defeat that giant, right? You've got to defeat that giant, whatever that giant is. You've got to defeat that giant, and you do that by daily practices, man.
Right.
You
Right.
and we've said this 100 times a day. David didn't kill Goliath when he hit him with the stone. He
Mm.
done killed Goliath when he killed the lion and the bear and all of those other things that happened was when
Yeah.
he killed Goliath. And so we're looking for one thing to help set us straight to understand that we've reached a goal when in actuality what you're doing every day is what's helping you to become who God called you to become. What you got to do? You locked in now?
Yeah, I'm locked in now. I'm sorry, man.
Okay.
I had to get on another device. But
You
no,
good.
I think what you said is so true. To acknowledge whatever reason it has been that your discipline has been off.
Right.
Acknowledge that, confront it, take ownership of it. Even if at some point, for myself, I used to blame a lot of, my lack of growth. I say, maybe it was because I didn't have this person in my life or that person in my life. And then I got to a certain point, people, I said, man, it's time for you to get over that, brother.
Right.
Like either you're gonna be great because you want to be great, or you're gonna keep letting these things hold you back. And so I think the
Hmm.
first thing is to acknowledge your downfalls and acknowledge why. I think the
Right.
second thing is to begin to apply principle. I think a lot
Mm.
of times with discipline, The reason is because the principles are not rooted in something that is beyond ourselves. And so if my discipline is only rooted in Demetrius Dew, then my discipline will be seasonal. And so I don't want to have seasonal discipline. I want to have discipline that goes beyond that. And so I think to apply principle is the second one. The third one, I think it is to master principle. So acknowledge, apply, and then master. Because master then begins to show us the transformation that we want to see. And for me, I'm not the best at discipline either, but God is working on me. And I think what happens is, and I'll just close with this, the more we apply principle and the more we master principle, the more we'll see transformation.
That's so good, man. And I think too, just kind of wrap up all our thoughts. Discipline looks different in every aspect of your life, one. But two, God made us holistically, spirit, soul, and body. So when you master discipline in one area, it affects the other areas. Just like when negative things happen in your life, for example, maybe you had some trauma in some area, it affects every aspect of your life, how you deal with everything. But that on the flip side, God created us so that works on the positive too, right? So when I master or when I become more disciplined in my spiritual practices, right, it helps me become more disciplined in my physical and my mind, right? And that's because they're all intertwined and all connected. And I've noticed that just in the past month, that when I'm able to focus on getting in my word, spending more time, intentional time with my kids and with family. Everything else seems like, you know how people say it's not enough time in a day, man. It's enough time in a day. We're just not spending it the right way. I had to get up a little earlier to be able to be more disciplined. I had to get up a little earlier to realize that I do have the opportunity to do all of the things God has called me to do. I just have to master my time management. And we can't manage what we don't measure, right? We have to, what you said, Barry, inspect what we expect, right?
Right.
Yeah. So we talked about discipline being the bridge between goals and achievements. We talked about discipline requiring delayed gratification. We talked about discipline builds our character, not just our habits. And I think those three things are enough for us to chew on and to meditate on, especially as we close out the year, right? We're on the fourth quarter. We're about to be on the fourth quarter of the year in a month.
Right.
And a lot of people are going to look back at the goals they set on January 1st and be like, I'm nowhere close.
Right.
Right. And if they do that, they can reflect on why. See, that why is critical. Why is the gap there? Like, what didn't I do? And like Dew said, one of the most important things I think he said all day was, you got to be accountable to yourself for why you didn't reach those goals. Right. And so, Dew, man, we appreciate you getting on with us this Saturday. We look forward to having you on again. Any last words you got for the people before we check out?
Yeah, I just wanted to say this because I was thinking about Romans that said that there's a war going on in our members. That's what Paul said, that there's a war going on, and there will be a war going on in our flesh, in our body, until we leave this earth. And I just want us all, those that are watching, and even myself, to just be reminded that there will not be a season that we cannot improve our discipline.
Right.
Like it just. Like, as long as we're inside of this fleshly body, there will always be something that we can improve. So I think the encouragement is, give yourself grace, one, right? The other side is, if you're still in this body, God has given you strength to overcome whatever that thing is. And so I just want to encourage us to know, like, it's a universal thing. Like, you ain't the only one struggling with your discipline, but we all can make the decision to get better.
Right. And if there's no war going on, you might be on the wrong team.
Come on, Will.
You might be on the wrong team if you're not consistently trying to better yourself, something wrong. Like I think Andrew Womack said, if you never run up against the devil, you going in the same direction with him.
Right.
Like, so there's constantly a battle that you should be facing. And the fact that you're facing a battle means that you're one of his. Right? The fact that you're struggling means that you're one of his. Barry, you got any closeout words?
Oh man, I mean, we can end on that, bro. I do believe we make it hard on ourselves though, in certain aspects when it comes to discipline. One of the things that James Clear said in his book about atomic habits, I don't call atomic habits, is we got to master the art of showing up. Okay. Like there's a quote, the heaviest weight at the gym is the front door, you know? So if we can just show up, guys, you know, get in there. If that's your gym, master the art of showing up every time. You know, you say I'm going to the gym, man, go lift that front door, you know, every day. Also, man, we talked about this earlier, and I feel like there's some other tips that we can probably get into, but just understand, like, if we create an environment for success, it helps you to succeed. So a prime example of that is, man, let's just say your goal is to get up in the morning early and hit the gym. And I'm just using that example. You can use this in different ways. Have your stuff ready. Man, have your stuff ready. Don't be in the morning. Don't be in the morning trying to find your pants and your shirt and your shoes. Have that stuff out already ready. Like you made a decision that this is what I'm gonna do today. And my stuff is already pulled out and it's ready. That's one of the things, man, that helps me out a ton of time in the morning. I just pick it up, put it on, and I'm out the door, you know. And create that environment for success. You know, you're trying to lose weight, don't have all the snacks on the counter. Okay. Make it hard to do the bad habits.
Right.
Make it easy to do the good habits.
Right.
Okay. So I'm gonna leave on that.
That's good, man. That's good, man. I think we talked about just the character development, the delayed gratification,
right,
and just defining that bridge between your goals and your achievements, and the importance of discipline. Like the importance of this, and seeing that holistically in your life, different areas of your life. You know, you talked about that door, right, being the heaviest thing in the gym. Listen, if you're going to become a better anything, then you've got to knock down that door, right? Like you got to knock down that door. Like, you know, you've got to defeat that giant. You know, one area for me is, hey, I want to be a better husband. Man, me and my wife have a date night every Friday night. Like it's on the calendar. You know what I'm saying? Right. That's how I measure. Right. That's how I measure. And and so if you're not measuring it, you're not managing it well, right? And so what we want to leave y'all with is just the idea that even if you're just starting, even if it's just the first time you've even heard about being disciplined, it's never too late to start being disciplined. No. I don't care what part of the year. I don't care if you're 85 years old or you 5 years old. You can begin the process of putting practices and strategies in, because you need a strategy. Like Barry talked about having them clothes laid out. Like, you can have a goal, you can have a plan, but if you don't have a strategy, you're still going to lose. You have to have a strategy to reach your goals. And discipline is a daily practice. And one thing that I've discovered, and this is it, discipline doesn't necessarily get easier as you go on, but it becomes a part of who you are. So you get attached to it. See, that first week I was up 4:30, 5 o'clock. It was a struggle. Second week, it wasn't easier to get up. It was just who I was now. Third week, it was like, I'm supposed to get up. My body started waking up before the clock did. I became something different, right? And it's a process of I'm trying not to. It's a process in the spiritual side called sanctification. You're becoming something different the more you practice that discipline. I ain't even gonna go there, but we appreciate y'all getting on on a Saturday. Is a gloomy Saturday. I think college football about to kick off. So we appreciate y'all getting on, Dew. We appreciate you being here. We look forward to the next time you can come on. I know you got a busy schedule, but you got an open invitation. Anytime we're on, I'll send you the link. You can jump on anytime, man. We appreciate it. Y'all start this process of practicing discipline in every area of your life, and just watch how God will begin to work in your life. We appreciate y'all being on. We'll see y'all next time.